You're listening to the Ballet Piano Podcast, lifting the lid on dance accompaniment.
Hello, podcast fans, and welcome back to episode 10 of the Ballet Piano Podcast. You joined us for a very special celebration because we finally made it through to the end of the ballet bar. Yay! So the exercise that we finish off with at the ballet bar is the biggest beat we've done so far, and in French, it's referred to as Grand Battement. But before we start celebrating, setting off fireworks and heading down to the local boozer for a pint of your favourite beverage, please let me introduce our wonderful podcast team. I'm Chris Hobson, and of course, I am here with Matthew Gregory.
Hello, listeners.
Kiko Hobson.
Hello.
And the delectable hashtag David Yao of Instagram. Hello. So Grand Battement, David, it can come in two forms, can't it? We have your standard Grand Battement, or we could have Grand Battement on Cloche.
Yes. So Grand Battement means big beat, and you're beating the air, and you're trying to also beat your legs together. So you're practicing for the center practice when you're going to jump and use a very, very quick action of your legs to get yourself, to help yourself get airborne into a big jump. So Grand Battement by itself would just be like starting from a fifth position, and you just Battement the whole of your leg out in either the front to the side or the back as high as you can, trying to keep your posture correct. And as you said earlier, you can add on to that Battement en cloche, which means like if you imagine the pendulum of the grandfather clock going from one side to the other side. Well, we do that in ballet, kind of, and we mimic that in terms of going to the front as high as we can and to the back. It can also be called Battement balancé, which means that it would be balanced equally high at the front as it would be when you Battement to the back.
So like the swinging of a big bell or something.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So should we start off with, let's go in with the basic Grand Battement.
Basic, I would normally go and I'd choose, if it was very basic, I'd choose something like a 4 for a march. And I do from a fifth position, I'd ask the students to do a Grand Battement to the front as high as they can, controlling coming down through a tendu and closing into fifth. And so it might be timed, and we had four counts in. We go 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. And then we do Grand Battement 1, tendu and close, and Battement, tendu and close. Let's say we do that 3 times, and close and stay and hold. We might do that en croix, which remember would be in the shape of a cross. So then we do it to the same sequence to the side, to the back, and to the side. That would be a very, very basic exercise.
One of the first things I think as a pianist you're listening out for on a basic Grand Battement, you've got the march there, and is the Grand Battement on the 1 or is it on the upbeat, isn't it? So does it go and the 1 and the 2, or is it 3 and 4 and 2? And you've got to be aware of that, haven't you? You've got to get that right, because you're going to lead the whole class with you, and you could lead the whole class incorrectly. You don't know that. So I think that's the first basic one that I would always listen out for, regardless of what the level is I'm playing. Yeah, where the Grand Battement is,
and hopefully the teacher will have explained that clearly for you, and for the students.
There's very, very different tempos between those two. If it's up on the 1 or up on the and, very, very different.
Well, because legs are heavy, aren't they?
It does take a lot of energy to throw your legs up that high and control them coming down without hurting yourself.
Is it a little bit like at the end of when you get to Grand Battement, if you've had a long bar, let's say you've been there for 45 minutes after a long break, long summer break or whatever, or an hour, must feel a little bit like finishing a 10K, or Matt, you've done a marathon. How hard was the last mile? You're just coming to the end of it. Is that what Grand Battement can feel like? You're getting to the end of it.
It is a bit of, when you're starting to get, if we were going to use a 3/4, now that feels more like a release.
Okay.
Because you're swinging your leg, and the music is matching what you're doing. So you're going up perhaps as quickly, and then slowly coming down, up 2, 3, down 2, 3, up 2, 3, down 2, 3. And so there is a kind of a release to that kind of swinging motion, isn't there really?
It's a throw, isn't it?
Yes.
It's a throw of the leg as opposed to a lifting.
Exactly.
If the teacher choreographed that way with the 3/4, because sometimes I experience that, with the 3/4 music, I think that, what you explained, David, is the feeling that I have with the Grand Battement in 3/4. But sometimes I experience the teacher put the wrong movement to the wrong accent. So it becomes very uncomfortable with 3/4. However, you somehow have to manage to play 3/4 for this particular exercise. And then that's going to be a struggle for the musician.
So what do you then do then? If you know that it's not going to work, what do you then do? Do you carry on with what you're
If
playing?
I don't know the person,
Yes.
the teacher, I just try to make it work very uncomfortably. If I personally knew the person, I might suggest something outside of the studio, but not when the class is going on.
Yeah. And
what do you think?
I'm with you, yeah. Even if, like people who we work with, David, they obviously know that we're friends outside of the studio as well, but I would never correct you in the studio in front of dancers to say, oh, I might, afterwards, or if you came on and said, what do you think? I might say, oh, maybe it would work better if you did it, and one or one and however. But I don't think any of us, would you ever do that? You would never sort of openly give feedback like that, would you?
No, not in class. I would just always try and do what the teacher sang as best possible. And if the Grand Battement is up on the and one and two, as deathly slow as that would be musically, just that it's benefiting them. Or even if it's and one and two.
Yeah.
Slower is always better, certainly at company level.
Yes.
Yeah.
I almost go to an adage, something I would play for adage with a bit of accent.
March, I mean, if you're just starting out in the ballet world as an accompanist and you're presented with a march, as David said, you've got, let's go with your two most obvious options, realistically. You could play Do You Hear the People Sing, if it's going up on the and a one, or you could play Dance of the Nights for going up on the one.
Yeah.
And a two.
Yeah.
It's not a march, but it's got that dotted rhythm to keep it going, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And get you through. And from there, you can start moving away off to anything. Then, can't you? You can increase your repertoire as cast the net as wide as you want to. Look for any sorts of marches. You can use 6/8 Sousa marches. You can use anything, but it's just something very, very basic to hook onto at the start.
And to be kind to the dancers as well. They're getting to maximum extension at this point.
Yeah.
It's quite aggressive, isn't it, Grand Battement?
It is. Yeah.
It's the culmination of everything they've done up to this point at the bar. It's no holds barred. It's everything. And it's and some dancers at company level don't need the whole exercise. They'll sort of drop out and then get ready for second side because they've done enough.
Yeah, it is a very demanding exercise.
So I just I'm very observant for the Grand Battement at what the dancers are doing and just to be kind to that tempo.
So being kind, we're not going to play the march from Nutcracker 4th of Arley because I tried it once and the eye rolls across the studio.
Oh, no.
I thought I was going to get crucified. So flipping over onto Grand Battement and Cloche, usually we're going to be on a waltz with that, aren't we?
We are
and
generally.
for this swinging bell motion, isn't it?
It is.
It's all swing together on a 3/4. A nice 3/4 and a nice waltz. And again, sort of like what Kiko was talking about before we took our little break there. It depends on where the accent is going to be for this. So if you were setting a cloche exercise, David, could you give us an example of what we might hear in the studio with you?
So let's say we'd have a preparation for 4 bars and we go 5 and 6, tendu derrière, 7 and 8. Then we do a battement en cloche, devant 2, 3. And then we go through first and brush through first to the Grand Battement derrière, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4. We might do that 6 times and 6. And we might just brush through the first and tendu devant and then reverse the whole thing, 7 and 8. And that might be an exercise there, just for that action of swinging backwards and forwards.
And would you set it on the brighter side?
Yes, it helps if it's bright.
Yeah, because it's the momentum of passing through first, isn't it?
Yes.
To get the height, at the front
or the back.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, totally.
I like it on a 3/4. I like it on a waltz because I think it feels almost something celebratory about it. Yeah, we've got there. And it's, you can have fun. You can play Golden Brown or Perfect Day. Yeah. Perfect Day can be quite good fun if it's been a harsh bar.
Talking about celebratory, I play a Wunderbar from Kiss McKay.
Great.
Something like that.
Where do you stand musically, Akiko, with the cloche?
Cloche?
Yes.
Oh, gosh, I don't know what I play.
Cloche, oh gosh, poet and didn't know it. You say your English is bad, it's not, you're a poet over there.
don't make fun of
Yeah.
I'm not.
I don't know what. It doesn't come. What do I play in 3/4 Cloche? I don't know what. Help me.
I always play something with a lot of energy and a
I
lot
like-
of
Yeah, yeah.
momentum.
Gaston.
You know, something that's quite chromatic, or it's always building.
Oh,
Gus-
I know
go
what
on.
I play. That's the TV series that's Game of Thrones.
Oh, dun, dun,
Yeah,
dun,
in a
dun,
very
dun,
strong
dun.
3/4.
Yeah,
I
it's
like
great.
is it Gaston from Beauty and the Beast?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Because
yeah,
you've got,
nice.
if you've got two sides again, 32 bars on each side, you've got the minor going into the major. So that's an uplift halfway through to get you through to the second side.
Yeah.
It's got a little bit of chromaticism in the melody in there. And it's just fun. It's just sort of raucous fun, isn't it?
Yeah, like you say, it's the end of the bar. It's the last thing.
Yeah.
It should be the biggest climax, the Grand Batman, isn't it? Musically, choreographically, you know, they're so warm, ready for
It is the
centre.
biggest climax that we've had so far, isn't it? While we've all been together in the studio, it's great. It's
Yeah.
such a happy time to be there. And the smiles as well around the studio that you can sometimes see,
relief.
especially company level. You know what's coming up next. You know, it's, the warm up effectively for the bar has been done, hasn't it? So
Yeah.
it's okay, right?
Yeah.
Let's really
You-
go up a
you-
gear and get into work.
You found
mode.
every technique, or you found every position at its, you know, its extreme, you know, facility. So it's ready for centre.
And we can have a few minutes break before the center as well. So for us as well.
Because so we've done marches, we've done waltzes on 3/4, but of course we can have polonaises, we can have mazurkas as well, can't we?
yes.
yes.
The Polonaise really,
I
It-
like
it-
Polonaise
it
with
put-
the Grand Batman.
it puts space in the Grand Batman,
does,
doesn't
yeah,
it?
yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you can really direct the down and then the
two,
closing.
and 3, 1 and 2.
I mean, I've got a funny story. When I was training as a dancer, our ballet teacher at college, she had this analogy about Grand Batman. And she said, the speed of the Grand Batman going up is like the bullet from a gun. And the speed of the Grand Batman coming down is the feathers from the bird that you just killed.
That's a really good one.
I mean, that just says a sort of sick sense of humour, I suppose. But, you know, some things never leave you. And so,
I like
yeah.
one of the guys I used to work with up north, who's ex-Dutch. He had a similar one, but it was, I think everybody says it, up like a rocket, down like a parachute.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
I have a very, very unusual experience. One ballet.
I'm sorry to hear that,
mistress-
but what about your what about your Grand Batmans?
You go about them next week. Because, you know, now we all talk about accent and speed and everything. And this ballet mistress, particular ballet mistress, asked me to play Moonlight Sonata fast movement, which is very smooth.
David, I wish we'd have taken a photograph of your face then when you heard that. That was priceless.
And I was like, are you sure? And, yeah, I'm sure. And she basically started to mark da 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 da. I mean, you
Wow.
can't see it, but
So it was.
It
up
somehow
and
worked.
Up and up.
it was down under,
Oh,
down
down,
under.
okay.
Oh.
Yeah, and then, well, because she kind of choreographed it with the music, it kind of worked. But I feel really funny, and also because the music is quite calm and quiet, and I keep hearing these shakes of the bar going with this calm music. So it was quite a funny experience I had.
But a really good illustration of how important it is to understand what the movement you're doing is and what kind of choice of music
And
you
how music can
choose.
support it.
Exactly.
Mm.
It's like, I always find for Polonaise, the Chopin military
Yeah.
works well. You know, yum, ba-dum, bum, ba, 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 bum, ba, bum, ba-dum, dum. I tend to steer clear of the sort of the polacas and the polonaises from, you know, the big hitter ballets such as Sleeping Beauty and Swan Lake, unless I'm specifically asked for, say, the Swan Lake one for a particular reason. I'll tend to steer clear of the ballet rep, especially for this, because you don't want to hit ballet rep when you're going to be doing it in the evenings, do you?
Yeah. And at company as well.
Yeah.
You sort of,
They
you
don't
have to
ever wanna
read the
hear it.
room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, if you read the room slightly incorrectly, flip onto the second side and play the theme tune from ET. Because, they might have hated the first side.
Good
but you can,
recovery.
rescue it
Yeah,
back. with the
redeem
second-
yourself.
Get out of jail free card, that, isn't it?
But I do Jurassic Park again. So
Yeah. It's a good go. So then we think that we've finished at Grand Batman. Everything can come to a close at the end of the bar, but you're going to be asked sometimes for something else, aren't you, David? So it could be either a set stretch or an unset stretch just to finish off, or some rises or some
Yes.
revees. What is just for sort of finishing off and then just finding a different
It is.
movement, or
After all of that energy being expended, you just want a little moment to recover, just to stretch out the muscles because they've worked really, really hard. And just to have that time in between everything, a good 3/4 now, just relaxing, adagio 3/4, nice and quiet, is really, really helpful to us.
I know some teachers that after the bar, or one particular teacher, shall I say, after the bar, they face with their backs to the bar and a second position that's slightly wider than they've worked in, and just a couple, like, 3 or 4 deep grand pliés.
Yes, exactly.
After
Just
all that, to
ease
stretch
out.
everything
Yeah.
out.
I find
Totally.
if we're going to go in for the stretching, what you were just talking about, David, I won't, I'm not going to fill the room with sound because we've just done that. We've just peaked so far. And then the stretch is it's very personal, then, isn't it? It's just for what you need to do. So just something that's there, but something that's not intrusive, but supportive.
Yeah, and if it's just a free stretch, I'll play all the music that I know isn't square.
Right.
Because it's not in an exercise.
Yeah, and you
Or I'll
can-
play the pop tunes that aren't square, or the time
Yeah.
signature's
People
not
tend
quite
to sing
right.
along, don't they?
And people
Yeah.
can sing along. But I always play it like it's just background music in a bar or something.
Yeah.
And they can stretch and they can listen to it as much as they want, or they can just, go out the room, get water and come back in. And it's like a little interlude, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, there
Before we
are
start
times when
again.
you want a structure and you want a
Yeah.
nice 3/4 and
Yeah.
everything. But there are other times, like you just said, you just want to just bring it back down a notch before you start the center.
And after that cellar, that big finish, it's nice just to that moment of focus before we all come together, get rid of the ballet bars and see if we can, see if we, not that I ever do, see if the dancers can still stand on 2 feet unsupported without the bar. So I think, does anybody else have anything to add to Grand Batmore?
It's just know that it's energy that we need from the pianist.
Yeah.
Whether it's a 3/4 or a 4/4, whatever it is, it's usually energy that helps us get through the whole thing because it's very, very demanding.
And for pianists, we're going to be talking about it's basically looking for where the accents are, isn't it? Hopefully your
Yeah.
teacher's musical enough to establish a tempo and a time signature. So then it's just down to you as a musician to work out when the Grand Batman happens and where you need to place the accents, isn't it? And then if you've got that, it's a relatively straightforward exercise to play, isn't it? It's not, there's not too many, holes that you can get tripped up in or fall down.
Yeah. We recently discovered what to play for David, didn't we?
Oh, yes. I forgot
His
about that.
favorite music about half a year ago, didn't we?
Yeah, the theme tune from Thunderbirds.
I love it. It takes me back to childhood. It's
It's something
brilliant.
that we all grew up with, wasn't it? The
Absolutely.
Thunderbirds and the puppets
Oh.
on the strings.
It
and
makes me smile all the time.
Do you know what I play for a Grand Batman?
Go on.
It's in 2 or 4, and a lot of the dancers won't get it if they're young. But I play the theme tune from Dallas.
Yes.
It's usually the teacher that gets it.
Yes. That's when we know that we talked about this previously, but picking your repertoire and knowing your audience.
Yeah.
And feel how old you are. Yeah.
Yeah, we're all getting older, aren't we? It's a sad state of affairs. Well, we'll be even older when we join you next time because we'll be discussing Port de Bras, which is going to be a really good, fun episode because it's the first one away from the ballet bar. Before we bring this episode to a close, I'd just like to remind you that if you want to, you can visit our website at www.balletpianopodcast.com. On there are links to different things that we've talked about in the show. You can also visit our web shop where you can where you can order some fantastic merchandise, including bags to put your point shoes or sheet music in.
I am going there right now.
And then look out on the Instagram and the social media to look very soon for some fantastic photographs of us lot modeling all this beautiful apparel. So until next time, it's goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
Bye-bye.
Bye.